Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with KISK, our Keep It Simple Circle marketing partners, we are here to help our Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes Radio, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So join us to make the world a better place. Spread the word, tell a friend, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils. Take it away, Peter.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You are listening to us on our very last radio show before July 4th. So it's July 3rd. We're a couple of minutes away. And for all those people that are listening in, we do this radio show on Fridays, and Friday the 3rd just happens to be today of July 2026 for those people that are listening in. We do this radio show with a great friend of ours. His name is Jean Luc. Jean Luc originally comes from France. And I have to just kind of mention to you, for those people listening in, Jean Luc is going to try to convince me that we wouldn't even have a July 4th if it wasn't for France. So for those people that are listening in, you're going to hear how France had something to do with July 4th. So
yeah, exactly.
I know. We're going to spend the next 30 minutes with Jean-Luc telling us all about France. So he's got a great course. It's where he teaches people French. It's called Learn French. It's the Jean-Luc method. And if you go to buildingfortunesradio.com/learn French, you'll be able to buy it. And it's a great tool for beginners and people to learn a little bit about France. And part of the course on France, how learning French is, he goes over the history, which we'll hear a little bit about relative to July 4th and our Independence Day and how France, we couldn't do it without him. And I'll push back, of course, but he's really telling the truth. So having said that, Jean-Luc and I have been doing these radio shows. I think there's 480 of them. So it's more than
exactly
480 radio shows. We do this every Friday, and it started off when he was building a home-based business, and I helped him do that, and we said, let's do some radio shows. Friday night at this time was good. I'm on the East Coast. He's on the West Coast, and it's 8 p.m. his time, and we started doing those, and then, of course, as we were doing those radio shows, I learned a little bit more about Jean-Luc and his philosophy and his natural strengths and talents, and he's a really super-duper good guy, and we did a lot of radio shows. We learned about health, nutrition, geopolitics. We played around with the environment, a lot of good things, philosophy, things along that line. We talked about spirituality things. He's helped me out physically, personally, spiritually, mentally, the whole thing. And as a result of those types of things, the whole package, the whole thing. I had a distressing phone call from him. I think it was like November around COVID, and he told me that we weren't going to be able to do the radio shows anymore. And it was a serious conversation because he had mentioned that he had to go into the hospital and wait for a heart transplant. And I'll say it slower just so you can hear it. I said it the right way, heart transplant. And for all those people that have no listening skills, that's serious. That means they take it's not something casual. They actually replace your heart with somebody else's. And the reason why we couldn't do the radio shows, he had to be in the hospital to be available whenever that situation might happen, and it did. And because of all the great things that he had done previously, he recovered quickly. He's been healthy ever since, and it's been 5+ years, I believe. We've been doing the radio shows almost ever since then. And we talk about whatever we want to talk about. But since it is the eve of July 4th, and we're talking about just, freedom and, anything else you might want to sprinkle in, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on and some of the things that are happening, but also with the idea that we can never forget that if it wasn't for France lending us people, money, and other resources, we probably wouldn't have beat those, the guys over on the other side with that king. So we owe everything. Let me just lay it down. We owe everything to France. Again, all the English language, the whole damn thing is based on French. You'll learn that when you go to Learn French through buildingfortunesradio.com/learn French. So I'll just give up. I'll lay my bayonet down now. The whole damn thing is because of France. So go ahead, Jean-Luc. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Peter. I appreciate you. I think it's a better introduction you never done.
That's right.
For the 4th of July,
Like 480, I got it right.
a better introduction of me, France, the radio show, and you in the same time. You make me laugh. At least I was not laughing before we talked together before the radio show because I go through some problem, physical problem, not health problem. I am healthy since the transplant, like you say. My car is not healthy; it's dead. They can make a transplant of the engine on my car.
Wow.
Dead. Okay, and I need to find another car. But it's a funny introduction you never made. It's true. and it's true you owe many things to France because the language you speak is from France. It started in 1066. It's not yesterday. It's before this country was born. Okay? Right. Because I think this weekend tomorrow is the 250th anniversary of this country, of the USA. But the language you speak starts in 1066. It's more than 400 years. Okay.
Yeah, no.
It's a long time. It's before you born, before I born, before the country born. 1066 with Guillaume the Conqueror. Okay?
Right.
The French guy who runs the England country. And even before the England come here and try to slave you.
That's right.
1066.
We owe it all to France.
The law in this country, or even in England, okay? Even England owes many things, but they are not. England attack us many times for almost. You have a war between England and France for 100 years. We call this a 100 year of fighting. And England is no recognition of what France has done for them. Even the law, you practice the law here in this country is from France. I find this, and people don't need to trust me. I find this on a Magnoli on a Black Law Dictionary. I think older edition. They say, law is the law. Law is from France. Okay? And now you have Jean Luc is from France too.
Right.
He brings good. And the freedom is from because the French army was coming here to help you. And the Statue of the Liberté is from France too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Many things. And when you say the king,
it's true.
What?
It's true. We would probably not be independent if it wasn't for France. Money, ships, people, resources.
People, helping you to fight this. But I don't know if the king at this time was very suppressive or very. I don't know how he was at this time. But what I know, he was asking for, I think, 5%. Taxes to go into the crown, and now I think we pay, you, me, everyone living in this country pay. I think 60% or 65% if you calculate everything, the taxes on your income, the taxes on your phone, on your food, on your all these taxes on your house. I was listening to a guy. He said, "Guy, you buy your house, it's not your house because it's like you rent it to the government. Every year you need to pay. You need to pay for the taxes on your house, the land. You think you own the land? No, you own nothing. And someone say you will own nothing and you will be happy. Maybe the way to go. I don't know. Even the word liberté is from France.
Right.
French word. Say we have this on a. You see this 3 letters from France. Liberté, égalité, fraternité.
Yep.
The first word is liberté.
Right.
And you transform this word to say liberty. You write with a Y, but it's liberté. Liberté, yeah.
Absolutely.
French too.
A lot of things from France. So if you for those people listening in, when you buy the
even
course,
the wine they do in California is from France.
That's right. So if you go to buildingforgeradio.com/learn French, you can buy the Jean Luc method, he calls it, which is a really great program to learn French, and he talks a little bit about the French influence here on the English language. Okay. But I don't know how much you know about, because we're doing this kind of like off the cuff relative to the Revolutionary War. But, in 1776, I was watching something from Glenn Beck, so that's where my newest recollection of this stuff was. But on July 2nd, they actually voted and drafted and all that sort of stuff, the Declaration of Independence. And then they actually announced it on July 4th. That's why July 4th is the one with the holidays. But that was like when they made a stance, and they just said, this is what we're going to do and this is what we're not going to do. And they kind of made that declaration, stood up against the king, who obviously they didn't want to have a rule over them. And there's a lot of things that are as a result of the way they define things with the Constitution that happened this week with birthright stuff that Donald Trump got when he lost that in the Supreme Court, and also a whole bunch of other things that are going on. But a lot of this stuff really goes back to those years where they actually formed all this stuff, and we live by it and abide by it, and whatever, to good or bad, we're still standing. And I think overall, there's lots of complaints and criticism about the United States, and I have plenty of it. But the reality is that I don't know if we're the best country, but we certainly are. And I know when they talk about freedom, we could talk about that a little bit. But the reality is we're really not free, but we're probably freer by comparison than most. And it's still a pretty good place to live. So, we'll celebrate that portion of it, put the negative stuff aside for at least a day, celebrate it, and then, not at least a day. I mean, give it, it's just like when somebody dies, you got to give them at least some respect. So we'll give respect for the people that worked hard for it, because there's a lot of people that worked hard for it, and I still think by comparison, it's probably still the best place to live. People are the most free, although the freedom thing is a definition. We'll talk about that maybe as we do the rest of the show. But it's an interesting time. And, 250 wasn't as big as Donald Trump wanted it to be, because the concert won't happen and a lot of people push back, and it won't be the biggest celebration, I'm sure, in the world that we've ever had. But the reality is it's worth at least noting. In your own special way, you could celebrate that we made it 250 years so far. So let's talk a little. So let's get the Declaration of Independence from the French guy on the phone. So go ahead, give it a whirl.
I think you're right. Celebration for something is always a good thing. Okay, but now you don't need to be. People don't need to be blind by it's the best country in the world. I don't trust that. It's a good country, okay, because you have worse, but you have better, okay, both sides. Because now France is turning, with this guy we have, Macron, is turning very, very bad and pushing many stuff. It's not completely Macron, it's Europe, okay? But both Macron and Europe. They want to go to war with in Ukraine. They continue to push this, which is bad. But I think this country, is you have better, you have worse. It's a good country. It's for that I am here, okay. But if I look at when I arrive in this country, something was. The feeling I have was interesting, and sometimes I go back to that. It was in 1997. Next year it will be 30 years I am in this country. And when I arrived, I was feeling the freedom to do something. It's like you can touch it, but it was not something physical. It was just a feeling. And when I arrived, I say, it looked like I'm in this country. I was feeling the freedom and say, I can entrepreneur everything I want here. But this feeling had disappeared since then because things have changed, not especially in a good way. But on the other side, some people are blind saying, yeah, it's the best country. No, it's not. You can always improve something to be better, okay, and better and better. And since I think if you look at the ideal country we, as a people, we can live, it will be more freedom, less regulation, no taxes, because when you pay taxes, you are slave of your own government. And this is an ideal, I think, is my viewpoint. Every country wants to reach. You know what I mean? To have an ideal thing, and you say, okay, let's go to reach this ideal thing where everyone don't need to pay taxes, can work, can receive the whole reward of their work, and have more freedom. I try to organize something, the number of documentation, authorization, permit, and all of this, especially in California, you need to fill out is amazing. For me, is wow. I give you just an example. You say to go on a farmer market to sell some product, like example a croissant or a baguette. You need to have a permit to do that. You need to have a handler permit, and they teach you how to give a baguette to someone. Hello, see. I think regulation kills the entrepreneur on at the beginning. And I was looking at this, I say, wow. But on the other side, you have possibility to, if you have some courage, you have possibility to organize the business you want to organize, but the administration is very, very, very annoying.
Right.
But this country has been 250 years and building on the independence. Independence is French word, by the way, again. See? And to be independent is normal. And to be independent for every country, you need to be normal, not depending on other countries. Okay, to make a regulation on you or to suppress you or something like this, and to be independent is completely normal. What do you want to say, Peter?
No, I was going to say, if you take a look at when you first came over, it wasn't just an illusion of freedom; it was more real freedom, and because you could start a business, you didn't need a million permits. You could build your business without a lot of laws. You didn't need insurance and a whole bunch of other things. You were able to do things freely. If you wanted to do, and build your business, you'd be able to do that based on your own might, your own energy, your own a lot of things. And now you don't have that same thing. And relative to privacy, I consider privacy some freedom. If you wanted to do things, there weren't surveillance cameras everywhere. If you wanted to walk down the street and take those baguettes and sell them to a local grocer or sell them to a church, if you had you'd go there, and quite honestly, nobody knew it. Nobody could track you. Nobody knew where you walked. You do that today, and you bring in your Android or your iPhone, and we know where you walked, when you stood up, probably what your heart rate was when you were doing it.
Exactly.
If you said hello to somebody, if you drove next to somebody, if somebody else walked next to you. We have this whole lack of privacy, which I consider freedom. I consider privacy a freedom. I want to be able to
I agree with that. Me too.
And that's gone, and it's never coming back. And however they allowed it to creep in, whether it was for an excuse for security, efficiency, making the world a better place, I'm not so sure. But we can certainly say that we are certainly not free to do what you want to do even on a day-to-day basis. Even this phone call is being recorded, transcribed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, there's no freedom anymore. The only freedom that we might have, Jean Luc, is if you and I were in the same room and we shut off all the electronic devices and we just had a conversation. And that's a huge lack of freedom, you know, because we should be able to talk on this phone.
Yeah.
And we should be able to, you know, if I wanted to send you money, I don't need to answer somebody why or have a digital footprint or any of those other things.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're celebrating tomorrow, quite honestly. It's not like I really don't know.
you celebrated the past, Peter.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And I need to adjust to say something, because tomorrow is the 4th of July. Okay, in 10 days it will be the 14th of July. Do you know what is the 14th of July?
No.
You don't know that?
No.
Peter, we celebrate this every year. 14th of July.
14th of July? I don't know. I really don't.
In France. In France.
In France, I don't remember. What is that?
Okay, the Independence Day à la Bastille, Independence Day in France.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it's way before you.
Right.
Way before this country.
Wow.
And what they have done during the Prise de la Bastille, they kill people. Like you say, I don't know what we celebrate. I didn't celebrate anymore. I celebrate myself when I make something nice or something. But all this stuff I didn't celebrate, because the 14th of July is Independence Day in France. They say 10 days after here, or 10 days before, because on a calendar year it was before. But what do? They put down the Bastille, they kill they decapitate the king, the queen, many other noble, and killing people. Maybe it was Independence Day for these people, because when you don't have your body, the spirit is completely independent, you know. It can exteriorize without the body and go freely where you want to go.
That's right.
But maybe after, don't surprise, don't question why with your next body you have a pain on your neck, you know.
Wow.
If they decapitate you, because when you lose this body, what do? You go to pick up another one. If you lose your head on one body, maybe the next one you have a headache or you have a pain on your neck or whatever, you know, something like this.
Who knows?
But sure, you are independent, okay? Nobody anymore.
Right.
You are free to go wherever you want. And I think the real independence is this one. You know, as a spirit, you manage this body, you can quit it, you can go back, but where does he have really freedom now on this planet?
Well, I think, so I think it all boils down to, like, becoming smart about it, becoming conscious about it, managing it, and realizing that we are losing our freedoms, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next 250 years. I don't think anybody can predict that. But we are losing our freedoms every day. And I don't think, we talk about how the general population is busy doing other things. They're certainly not thinking. Maybe nice people, maybe, honorable people, not very smart or knowledgeable, or maybe they don't prioritize this stuff and they just go with the flow. They trade it off. But I look at what's happening and saying, I'll celebrate the idea that we got this far. Not that it matters, the world doesn't care, but also conscious of how much freedom we are losing on a day-to-day basis. So,
I can give you. Okay, continue.
No. And it's just, you got to be conscious of that, not negative, but just conscious of that.
Yeah.
How much of it you're going to be able to change? I don't think much of it. So you got to worry about, well, what does this mean to you personally? How do you manage this? And I think that's something that people have to really start to think about, because you never had to think about it before. It was given. It was, what did they say in the Constitution? Self-evident. It's not self-evident anymore. The freedoms that we had, for whatever it might be, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it's no longer self-evident. It's being taken away, and most people don't have a clue. So anyway, so back to you.
For that, these people are blind, because when I was reading something, a guy, he was writing, he's a guy, he has some influence on the investment field. He was writing something. I said, my God, this guy is completely blind. He said, this country is the best country in the world, and blah, blah. I said, no, he's a good country, but he's not the best in the world. And the best, even if other countries, like I say, you have some with better and some worse. But this is not the point to compare. The point is to compare to an ideal scene. And when you reach or close to this ideal scene, you will see it's completely different. I can give you maybe try to give you a definition of freedom. Okay, the freedom is we will have less and less freedom as a body. Okay, because the body is a way control. They control the body. They cannot control what you think. They cannot control you as a spirit. And the best thing you can do for this life with this body is to learn who you really are as the spirit. And when you learn you are a spirit and not a body, and you differentiate you between the body, the mind, and the spirit, and you say, oh, I am the spirit, I have this body, they can control this body, but they cannot control me as a spirit, they cannot control what I think. This is your, basically will be your only freedom you can have. Because very soon, like you said, Peter, we will not have the freedom to go wherever you want. Look how it's more and more difficult. Okay, you need to have a bunch of paper. You just to take a plane or to go on the area or country is more and more and more control for this body. So only freedom, he exists or he will exist. And he's the one you can have as a spirit. And if you educate yourself as a spiritual being, what is a spirit? What is a spiritual freedom? Who are you exactly? Is the only thing you can. When this body die, like my car, you say my car die. What does I do? I put on a junk car now, and when my body will be not good anymore, and it will be like my car, we'll put on a junk car, and I will quit it. Even on the Bible, he is writing, he have a separation between the body and the spirit, and the soul. They call this the soul. Okay? But I prefer to use the word spirit because it's what we are. And when you have separation, what do? You go to I need to go to take another car, a new car. Okay? And the spirit do the same thing. But now if you didn't learn that, who you are exactly, you lose more freedom because it's the only freedom we have left.
Right. Well, I think about people that get locked up, that lose their physical freedom, in jail or worse. And how do they survive? Well, many times they survive because they learn how to master their thoughts, control their mind, do the things that you said a little bit earlier. Everything's in your head. And so, in essence, we're all becoming jailed or in prison of this state or surveillance state, where now, it's kind of like that's the only way you can be free, because you really can't be free physically. Like you're not free. You have a sailboat. You're not free to be able to take that sailboat and put it anywhere you want to put it, or you can't put machine guns on that sailboat, or you certainly can't put, some other things. You couldn't put a tank on that sailboat. You couldn't put a movie theater on that sailboat. They won't let you do that. You'd say, well, wait a minute.
I have a big screen TV on my sailboat, and when you have the pirate, and they were able to go basically everywhere and stop everywhere they want. But now, even if you stop somewhere and you put your anchor close to a harbor, you have the harbor patrol controlling you and all of this. So
right.
Now, like I said, mainly the freedom we still have some freedom, but not the one we need to have, because I understand you have some rule when you live in a society, and the rule need to be ethical, because many laws are not ethical, and ethical is not moral. Many people confuse moral and ethics. Moral is an agreement about the rule the organization gives to you. Ethics is what you put on yourself to arrive to have the more survival for yourself. Okay, but the society need to have some rules. People need to be ethical, and when you do that, you need to be able to do whatever you want, not to have a permit and to pay for a permit to handle a baguette of bread to someone. You say this is stupid. Stupidity is very high in California. Maybe it's higher than in Florida, because you have at least you have a good governor in Florida. Here we have the stupid one on this country.
Right. Yeah.
And stupidity is gaining. Stupidity is increasing because is transmissive to generation. If you do nothing to stop your own stupidity, you give this to your kids or your friend or your family, and this is a epidemic. Like I say many times, between you and me, we are surrounded by two oceans of stupidity, and it's true. and because you have a climate change, and the snow and glacier are melting, the stupidity is increasing.
Yes, it's crazy.
See?
It is crazy.
The two oceans are increases in level.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, exactly. So, having said that, guess what? We're going to be done with our radio show. For those people listening in, hopefully you learned a lot. But you want to learn French. So learn French.
Yeah.
Go to buildingfortuneradio.com/learn French. You can get the discount as I think it's $48, and it's a one-time charge. And you get a chance to learn French and have a relationship with our good friend Jean Luc as well, and make the world a better place. So Jean Luc, thanks for being here. Happy 4th, and we'll celebrate the 14th. As well, when that happens. Let's see, that's going to be in
to celebrate the 14th of July correctly, you need to visit in French. Okay, you need to go to your root and you say, okay, now let's learn French and see what French people have done for us. You see?
That's right, absolutely. Yep. So remember the past. Having said that, Jean-Luc, thanks for being here. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for everything, and we're going to catch everybody next time. Bonsoir, everyone.
Bonsoir, Peter.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Building Fortunes Radio is part of the Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio network. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website to listen to your favorite shows. You can also hear us on Humongous Radio and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for.